And again, George Soros, who funds all these color revolutions all around Russia, trying to, and then NATO comes in and moves weapons in to try to start a new war with Russia. And now this same guy trying to overthrow my country with a fake socialist revolution is trying to overthrow Russia. And that's in the news today. And so this is going to get the Russians completely into an offensive stance via defense against the West. And the truth is, Russia's gotten away from the New World Order. It's its own criminal enterprise, all these governments. Iran's its own criminal enterprise. See, people seem to think, well, is it Russia good, America bad, or is it America good, Russia bad, or is it Iran good, America bad, or Iran good, America, Israel, all this. It's kleptocracies. It's corrupt governments all use the same tricks. Governments are corrupt about 99% of the time historically. Read what George Washington, Thomas Jefferson said. Read what Machiavelli wrote in 2 books 500 years ago. In Italy, or in one of the provinces, of one of the city-states that is now Italy today. The point is that I understand how these powerful forces, these banks that create the money and now pretty much rule the world, are playing us off against each other. We'll all go in debt to fight with each other. Russia, as it's being attacked politically and militarily, will use that to take liberties. Iran, as it's being attacked by the globalists, will use that to take liberties and dig in deeper. The West, while it's in these cold wars and hot wars and economic currency wars with these other countries, that'll be used to take more liberties. Don't you get it? Whether it's Israel, whether it's Iran, whether it's China, the United States, Canada, all these governments and government class and the mega corporations and insider monopoly men that control governments, they stand to gain from war and crisis and terrorism. I've always explained that the Muslim extremists, there are Muslim extremists who hate America and hate Christians and all this, but that's a minority. And then when you go research them, they're the ones funded by the globalists. On record. Every time. And the government lets them come in, but then Europeans and people that want to immigrate here, it's almost impossible to even get a visa to come work here. Because it's all part of the balkanization. This is the globalist great game of divide and conquer. It's what the Roman Empire used. Then through the Dark Ages, the Venetians kept that system. After Rome fell, went into the Byzantine Empire, was picked up later in France, and then it moved to England. And it's a management system developed by the Romans over the 300-year-plus history. Well, I mean, you've got the beginning of Rome going on for a couple hundred years, and you've got the, it's real rise for a few hundred years, and then the slow disintegration that took 300 years. But I mean, technically, you could say the Roman Empire, Roman system went on for 600 years. And it came out of Greek systems. And so early on, it was Spartan and extremely moral. And then you saw what it degenerated into. The popularized image of Rome is what it degenerated into, not what it was. It was Spartan. It was like a Spartan graft into that area. All right, we're going to come right back and get into news off the chart. There have been federal rulings that tie right into the NDAA. Hardcore news on Iran. So much. I will cover it all straight ahead. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. We got surprises, too, coming up.
We all know the importance of having...
Away later in the broadcast, we're going to have an article about this at Infowars.com. A auxiliary reporter of Infowars, their YouTube channel is called Austin Streets. We're going to get this video up on Infowars.com very soon. An auxiliary reporter who I gave some video cameras to a few years ago because he and his wife were literally homeless living on the street, and now they've gotten jobs and gotten back on their feet. But they were listeners, and they came out to some events, so I gave them some cameras. And they shot at the Austin Kite Festival yesterday that I almost went to. The military, National Guard out there loading children onto buses and running security. Now, they've got MPs in San Antonio now at the Riverwalk. I have seen it myself. They are doing crowd control. This is just all part of total acclamation to have military on the streets of America. And it's an admitted Pentagon program to put military on the streets, again, which is illegal, which means our country is basically being occupied. And they have these acclimation exercises to get you ready for martial law going on everywhere. And next, after they show up at events, and there's the helicopters flying over, it's all part of conditioning. Next, they will start bag searching. I mean, I get reports every week where Alabama, Tennessee, California, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Vermont, I mean, they're all over YouTube, where people go to a high school basketball game and there's Marines with guns searching the kids, regular Marines. There's news articles. I've had state reps on in Tennessee. You pull up, there's regular Marines, regular Army, TSA commanding them, state police barking at people, pulling people out of cars. It's all just martial law. That's what TSA at the airport grabbing your genitals is. And if you're watching on Prisonplanet.tv, I just showed some of that video. Devastating. So I'm getting a hold of Paul Watson right now. And he does great boil-down articles. Because I won't just show you this. I'm going to show you the Washington Post 8 years ago saying during attacks, your children will be taken from the public schools. You'll be made to turn your guns in and come to a FEMA camp to get them. I knew about this because listeners in Missouri in the Ozarks sent us footage of the Army taking kids to a FEMA camp as part of a drill with the kids' hands up being loaded. And then last year, we went to Denver during an urban warfare drill, not knowing what we would see. And it shows the kids being taken from public schools to the sports stadium. The Army, FEMA, everybody. So see, we won't just show you this latest thing in Austin. We'll give you background integrated full spectrum analysis. In fact, I want to call Watson right now. McBreen right before the show showed me the video, and I was watching it again during the break. It's pure evil. And again, whenever I talk about it, I'm going to be the bad guy. He goes, I said there'd be military on the streets. It happened. I said they get rid of posse comitatus. It happened. I said they'd pass laws they could secretly disappear you. It happened. I said they'd announce a global bank of the world to fix a currency derivatives crisis 13, 14 years ago. By 2012, happened exactly as I said. I broke down, just hundreds of issues. I've told you exactly what's going to happen. I told you a purge would start against Republican talk show hosts. Doesn't mean they're perfect. It just means there's a purge going on. They're now trumping up stuff on Limbaugh, really going after him. New York Times and others trying to bring it down. Of course, they're blackmailing Rupert Murdoch that they'll arrest him and his son. The Justice Department openly is saying if he doesn't just roll over and start worshiping world government, not say Rupert Murdoch's good. The point is it's factions fighting with each other. Breitbart dies. There's total demonization of Drudge going on. Dirty tricks and just insane stuff being launched against us. Just total fiction frauds from every angle because it's all coming down. Can you imagine out of all the hated people out there that, at least are for the Bill of Rights, Constitution, Second Amendment, I'm the most hated. Michael Savage is broadcasting from 6 different locations with bodyguards hiding out. That is directly from inside sources. I knew it a year ago, heard it a few months ago, heard it again. And now Savage, I can talk about it because Savage is saying, I told Breitbart to get bodyguards and watch where he goes and don't be in public without bodyguards and don't go to the same places and everything because, I'm not going to get into the other stuff I was told. It's too revealing about who the sources are. But this is real, okay? This is real, what's going on. You think they're just going to ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment and then be caught in federal court shipping narcotics in? ATF, FBI, DEA, and 5 other agencies. This is in the federal courts. This is admitted. And when it's brought up, they declare national security. You think they've got the troops growing opium and it going from 10% of world supply to like 92% in just 10 years with the troops growing it and guarding it and loading it on C-130s? We're not in Kansas anymore. And all of you mainline Republicans who thought you were going to play along with the New World Order, like Limbaugh, no, that's not going to happen. As this thing comes down to the line, all the old guard types who tried to play both sides, they're going to come after you. You could even try to join the New World Order now. They're going to destroy you. You better defend the Republic. Tyrannies aren't fun. Look at what happened in every other dictatorship. They go after their opposition, the powerful opposition, as soon as they take over. Do you want to be purged by Obama and the mega banks and George Soros?
We're on the...
It blows me away that right here in my own town, the state police are calling my local affiliate, trying to get us kicked off the air. The military is at the Kite Festival that I've gone to many times with my children. directing people around, bossing everyone around. The next time, of course, they're going to be going for the genitals. And you're like, why? Well, just even with dogs, that's the ultimate form of domination. And they're there conditioning our military, who are good men and women, to engage in these unconstitutional activities. It's all about getting the police, the military, everybody ready. I interviewed 14 years ago now. No, it was 1997, more than 14 years ago. Al A. Philippus, the chief of police of San Antonio, who had the Delta Force come in with bags of money and try to buy him off to basically have a covert military takeover of San Antonio. First, they buy off your police, just like they take over a third world country. It's a force multiplication structure. They were buying off other city officials. Even after he said no, they brought them suitcases of cash. You know how Special Forces takes over a country? I mean, they're trained. They can parachute 20 of these guys in, and within 6 months, they've got an indigenous population eating out of their hand, ready to wage war. We are treated the same. And then I got contacted by... Both of these men were in military intelligence. That's why they knew what was happening. It totally freaked them out. Thomas Sanchez, the head of emergency management in Kingsville, Texas. Vietnam veteran, Army intelligence. And he knew what to say when they came to him. He said, is this part of a takeover program? And they said, yes. The president, under these presidential directives, is preparing us for martial law and taking over local government. And we want you to work with us on this. We're going to run acclimation operations. And, of course, there's mayors and sheriffs and everybody listening everywhere going, wow, I was approached years ago and made to feel special. They always tell you, you're the first town this is being done. You're special. We've got to train. We've got to get everybody ready. It's the same MO. And when I was covering this secret covert program, folks, I had the Army with firearms take our video in San Antonio. After the police chief had told them not to do it, they did it at the military base, Fort Sam Houston, the medical center then. They had Delta Force come in and blow up part of a building and all this. We're there the next day on an open base at the time, and they had guys come over with their sidearms, point them at us. Mike Hansen began to argue, so they pulled the gun out and pointed it right at him, MPs, took his video, erased it, and gave it back to us and told us, don't come back. With Delta Force guys sitting there and their handlers, older guys, like they were 45, 50, you know, laughing at us and stuff. Yeah, laugh at America. It's real funny what you do. All the narcotics trafficking, all of it. Oh, you're giving Machiavelli as your test to see if the end justifies the means. The end is not having America strong. The end is destroying America. You were lied to. You think you do evil things because you've got to be more evil than the evil guys? No, that's the devil's greatest trick. It's like the Ring of Mordor. It cannot be used for good. And, of course, that's just the weak-minded ones that get to be part of this evil. How do you feel Delta Force murdering the people at Waco? Is that real tough? You kill some toddlers? Well, yeah, you're real men. You'll go in and put an anti-personnel mine, shaped charge on top of the church records building and